dogs.
So we were contacted yesterday by Salt Lake County Animal Services reaching out for help and assisting with some of the 100-some dogs they took in from the hoarding case in the avenues. We went over yesterday morning and we brought back 36 dogs. 27 of those were from the hoarding case and 9 others were dogs that were already in their care, and we took those to help make room for their incoming dogs from the hoarding case. From the hoarding case specifically, we're seeing small breed, mostly Chihuahua and Chihuahua mixes. There's maybe some long hair like Shih Tzu mixes in there as well. Of the 27 dogs we brought in, 12 are puppies. They're pretty small, so they're going to need some time in a foster home to make sure they're healthy and ready for adoption. But we'll start seeing some of the other adult dogs go up for adoption in the next few days. The conditions of the puppies is actually better than we were expecting. Oftentimes these hoarding cases, the dogs are not vaccinated, they're not given proper attention to their health, and so we're always a little worried. They were pretty dirty when they came in, so we had to bathe most of the dogs, but because they have shorter coats, we're not seeing things like matting. They do have long nails, so we're able to take care of that. But overall, we're pretty optimistic about their health, and we'll have our veterinarians look them all over today.
I want to know what happens to the tortoise, by the way. Despite the desperate need of a bath, all the dogs were seemingly in good health. One of the neighbors' biggest concerns here that the dogs were malnourished, a common occurrence in animal hoarding. We spoke with Guinevere about what the common signs are that can help identify an unsafe situation.
In these cases, it's common to see just basic neglect of the animals. It's really difficult to take care of 100 animals for one individual or even one family. So you're going to see things like grooming that gets, ignored, or proper nutrition and food. It's hard to monitor that all these animals are getting the actual nutrition they need, especially if you're feeding them in large groups. It's also very costly to feed that many animals. So basic malnutrition is common in these animals. And again, things like grooming. So if they have long coats, they might be matted or have feces in them. Long nails, kind of stuff like that is what is often seen. Often it's unchecked mental health that can cause hoarding cases to get to the extent where they have this many animals. Then you're often relying on the community to keep an eye out and come forth. Like in this case, there was a neighbor who stepped forth. Like they said, they were unaware that there was this many animals on site. They thought it was a handful or maybe 10 dogs. So a lot of times, especially if it's small breed dogs like this, they may be kept inside, but you are going to rely on your neighbors to see that maybe the animals aren't in the best health and then call and report that to their local animal services.
Well, despite Salt Lake County not having a limit on how many pets can be in one home, this is not the first time that concerns with this dog owner have been reported. Now, last October, a local influencer went viral after sharing her story with the same dog owners. Ashley England bought a puppy from an online listing. She admitted she saw some red flags, but was blinded by the excitement of getting the dog that she wanted at a price she could afford. Take a listen.
I was looking for a puppy for our family. I found her on the KSL classifieds because she said she had Chihuahuas and that's what we were looking for. We texted back and forth. She sent me a bunch of pictures of puppies. I picked a puppy, and then when it came time to meet up and pay for the puppy and exchange, it was kind of fishy. She told me, my husband wants to keep the puppy, and we tried to get a hold of her husband and he just wouldn't answer, and then she brought this other puppy instead, and I had already promised it to my family, so I was like, all right, we'll take this puppy. And she was adorable and cute and tiny, and so it really wasn't hard to take this puppy. But yeah, so I paid for this other puppy. But when I went home, my husband was like, no, you got scammed. We're going to go back. And she was pleasant enough to meet us again and talk about it. But when I met up with her, she gave me half of my money back and demanded the other puppy back. The police got involved, and she threatened to sue me. But yeah, we had a whole ordeal with her. Come to find out, she had scammed a bunch of other people because I had posted it on my social media, and a bunch of people reached out and they're like, I met the same woman. She scammed me as well. My puppy is definitely not purebred as she's claiming. She told us that they were vaccinated. All these puppies are vaccinated. All of them are purebred, and I'll send you all the paperwork. And we never got that paperwork. My puppy had not had any vaccinations, and then yeah, ended up being super sick. So I'm sure, and that's when I panicked because I knew she had other puppies. Just meeting her the couple of times, I saw at least 5 or 6 different puppies. So I knew that those ones were probably sick too. I had reached out so many times to the animal control and animal services, and there really wasn't anything they could do for me. They just said, since you didn't see the home, you didn't see the living conditions, you know, we can't go in and do anything.
Well, they are cute after they got the bath. Ashley reached out to us after seeing the story on KUTV 2 News. We asked her, how did she confirm the homeowners in this story was the same couple that sold her a severely ill puppy last year?
When I was in my angry phase and like reaching out to animal control, like I needed an address because she would not meet me at her home. So we met at a grocery store in the Avenues. So I knew it was in the Avenues and that house was in the Avenues. But when I was doing all my research trying to find her address, I found her real name on the dash cam or the body cam video for the officer and got her real name and just looked up public records, and I got her address from there, and then you can just Google map her house. So when I saw the news clip of the house, I was like, it's the same house, this is the same lady. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, and they all the puppies in that news clip look like my puppy. They're all these tiny little half-breed Chihuahuas.
We're getting updates from neighbors of that home in Salt Lake tonight. One neighbor sent us this home camera footage of animal services going back into the home. The neighbor says 3 more animals were taken out on Sunday, 5 more today. She says they put in traps to the home because they're still trying to catch more that are inside. As much as we would like to know, we've not really heard any specific condition on the animals, specifically with the tortoise, the location of the tortoise. We're trying to figure that one out. We also asked if charges were being filed on the homeowners. Animal Services said they did not have that information yet. Remember this one? Oddly enough, this was not the first animal hoarding story we have brought you, not even the first this year. This was some staggering video. I mean, imagine being the officer and seeing all those eyeballs looking back at you. 150 dogs and cats inside of this home there in Ogden. Officers made the discovery while serving a search warrant. The homeowner, Miguel Salgado Vargas, been charged with a lot of misdemeanors, 637 at our last count. Those charges include animal cruelty and unlicensed animals. Coming up on ARC Salt Lake, the company who handles students' information for districts nationwide now facing consequences of a data breach, how it's impacting the Washington County School District, and how parents can stay protected. Keeping an eye on your students' education and their personal information. This after a cyber attack that happened months ago, still making waves in southern Utah. The Washington County School District says information stolen from a school data program is now being used to target families. Liv Gallagher spoke with the district about the scam and how parents can stay protected.
The challenge that you have is any time you lose data in some sort of breach, someone's going to find a way to exploit that, right? And if they can't make money directly off of that data, then they're going to use it to make money indirectly.
Technology director with the school district, Jeremy Cox, says they've received reports of suspicious phone calls by scammers pretending to offer ACT test prep in exchange for money.
Scams like that where you're using social engineering techniques, establishing trust with a target, data can be the key to making that happen.
The information taken included student and parent contact details and personal data. This did not include social security numbers.
Now, very fortunately, the legislature passed a bill some time ago that prevented the school districts from collecting social security numbers for regular educational purposes.
Washington County says they initially locked PowerSchool out of their systems until they could prove the breach was closed.
Do you see them working towards addressing that and making sure this doesn't happen again?
Yes, I've seen them make great strides towards that. Now, in no case will we ever think that anyone's perfect, but what they have done has been good movement towards a good direction to protect their systems in the future.
But he says there is a limit to what the school can control.
At this point, it's really out of our control because the information is out there and people will use it and abuse it in the ways that they want.
The district says it will continue to work with PowerSchool to strengthen its security, but because this data is already out there, they expect scammers to continue to try. They say the best defense is awareness, and they hope warning families now will help to limit the damage. In St. George, Liv Gallagher, KUTV 2 News.
A Massachusetts college student pled guilty for allegedly hacking and extorting PowerSchool for nearly $3 million in Bitcoin last December. 19-year-old Matthew Lane accused of gaining unauthorized access to the network by using an employee's credentials. Months after getting the data, Lane is accused of leasing a server from a provider in Ukraine and then transferred the stolen data. Lane could face up to 17 years in prison and a fine of up to $250,000. Some good news here. More evacuation orders have been lifted on the Monroe Canyon fire. Sevier County Emergency Management shared today that evacuations orders have been lifted for 2 more areas around the fire, the Bagley Ranch and Bear Valley areas. Those are the 2 spots that had the orders lifted. The area is still closed to the general public, but property owners can get a placard from the sheriff's office. They're anticipating opening up more areas this week for property owners. Flooding is now a big part of the conversation here after the fire burned through nearly 74,000 acres. 90% perimeter containment on the Monroe Canyon fire, with most of the fire area receiving measurable rainfall over the last couple of days. Fire crews are focusing on rehab and removing hazardous trees along access roads. If you have any questions and want to hear a briefing from fire crews there, a public meeting is scheduled for Wednesday night, 7:30 in Richfield at the Sevier Valley Center, 800 West, 200 South. Provo police working with the U.S. Forest Service to crack down on drone intrusions on the Buckley Draw fire. Over the weekend, officers identified 5 drone operators violating the temporary flight restriction. Those cases have been referred for prosecutorial review. Each drone sighting can force air operations to stop for up to 45 minutes while the airspace is cleared. And during that no-fly period, fire suppression is delayed and firefighters on the ground are left without emergency or rescue support. Drone operators are encouraged to avoid fire areas and check the FAA website for active TFRs. Rain showers are helping keep the Beulah fire under control in the high Uintas. Areas with dead trees and dry plants continue to burn, but Sunday's rain helped reduce growth and smoke. Crews remain active along the slope road and clear heavy fuels to create contingency lines. Structure protection efforts still in place for several areas, including the Christmas Meadows area. The fire is 55% complete. This week, the 2 Tremont and Garland police officers killed in the line of duty will be laid to rest. The public viewing for both Officer Eric Estrada and Sergeant Lee Sorensen will be held this Wednesday at Bear River High School in Garland from 3 to 7 p.m. There will be separate funeral services for the fallen officers. However, They will each be held at the Spectrum at Utah State University. Services for Officer Eric Estrada, Thursday at 10 a.m. Services for Sergeant Lee Sorensen, Friday, also at 10 a.m. We'll have complete coverage of these services here on 2 News. Download our mobile app to watch on your phone. We'll also stream the services online. KUTV.com, easiest to watch on our YouTube page. Storms rolling in here, a little unsettled. We love the monsoon terminology this time of year, especially when we can get it. Meteorologist Chase Thomason here with our first alert forecast.
You probably felt the humidity today. Isolated showers and thunderstorms still can't be ruled out this evening and for tonight, even though we haven't had a whole lot quite yet. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, though, that monsoon moisture continues to increase, and it looks pretty likely we'll have some rain finally here along the Wasatch Front for your Tuesday and Wednesday, and temperatures really cooling off because of the rain and the cloud cover. So last week, dealing with a really hot weather, not for this week. Now, rain chances for the rest of the night at about 40% by tomorrow and Wednesday, hovering at 70%. So again, more widespread rainfall will be moving in. It's been pretty hit or miss lately. And then by Thursday, still a stray thunderstorm possible. By Friday and into the weekend, though, that's when that drier air begins to move in, which is good news if you have any outdoor plans for Labor Day weekend. In the meantime, high pressure has been situated exactly where I like to see it, closer to the Four Corners, hanging out to our south. You get that clockwise rotation. It's pumping up that monsoon moisture. And again, we'll have even more moisture on Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's why those rain chances are highest then. As we roll through the next few hours, we can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm, especially right around, I think, 9 or 10 o'clock. Right now, the best chance for that will likely be across central and south central Utah. Rain begins to fill in, though, by tomorrow morning across areas like Cedar City and St. George. So as you head out the door, you might need your umbrella. Likely during the morning, though, it will be light across that area. So if you're making any travel plans, you should be okay along I-15. There's a better chance with the daytime heating to get those stronger thunderstorms that produce heavier rainfall up and down the I-15 corridor for tomorrow. And even across portions of eastern Utah, we'll see some widely scattered showers and storms. Into tomorrow night and Wednesday morning, more rain is definitely possible. So this is good news. It's been a very dry summer. Right now, 4th driest on record, and hopefully that can change just a bit as we wrap up the month of August and we get a little bit of that rain on the ground. Temperatures also definitely cooling into the 70s and 80s for the next few days. So you're going to feel that cooler air mass, which will be pretty comfortable in central Utah, upper 70s tomorrow, and we'll be in the mid 80s here along the Wasatch Front, and even down in St. George, we're talking highs in the 80s. But the 90s return to southern Utah, though, as high pressure drifts towards the east and that drier air moves in, especially by Saturday, Sunday, and on Labor Day. Now, there might be a stray thunderstorm with some leftover moisture over the mountains, but rain chances are definitely dropping. So St. George, your best chance for rain this week is tomorrow morning, and then a few possible in the afternoon. Can't rule out an isolated thunderstorm on Wednesday, but we'll go from the 80s back into the 90s. Sunny weather expected over the weekend. Not going to hit 100 degrees, but we might be close by Sunday and Monday with overnight lows in the low 70s down south. Tonight in Salt Lake, 69 degrees. We're at 84 for tomorrow. How about some low 80s Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday? Rain chances are low on Friday, much lower over the weekend and into Monday with temperatures. Hey, at least we're not in the 90s, but we're back into the upper 80s into early next week.
Coming up here on Arc Salt Lake, Louis Vuitton says treat yourself as they launch a new makeup line, while your wallet might say otherwise. Taking a look at what's trending today, Louis Vuitton announced its first cosmetics collection called La Beauté. The collection will feature lipsticks, lip balm, and eyeshadows. In testing of the products earlier this year, some customers liked the look of the products. Others said they were too pricey. Your wallet might agree. If you want lipstick, it'll cost you at least $160. Pricey lips you got there. It's also about double the price of some other high-quality lipsticks. Louis Vuitton cosmetic products will be available at some of its stores and the company's website starting this Friday, so don't miss out. A movie about legendary basketball player Kobe Bryant is in the works, as it should be. The movie will focus on Bryant's journey to the NBA that began with the 1996 draft. It's called With the Eighth Pick. I butchered that. Let me try it again. With the eighth pick. Trying to do my best David Stern. At the time, the New Jersey Nets held the 8th pick in the draft, considered taking Bryant, but he was still in high school, Lower Merion High School. Instead, Bryant's stock dropped a bit, and the Charlotte Hornets drafted him with the 13th pick. And then he was traded to the Lakers. Bryant won 5 titles with LA and is considered one of the greatest players in NBA history. Thanks for joining us tonight at 7. We'll be back tomorrow. See you then.